This is Jennifer. Do you need police, fire, or EMS? My name is Jennifer Rodriguez. I am a communications call taker. I receive 911 calls and non-emergency calls.
This is the Bear Metro Emergency Communication Center.
Was he an older male, a younger male?
Also known as a PSAP.
It's a primary safety answering point.
Here, information is always changing. Calls filled with chaos and concern come in by the second.
May I have a description of the vehicle?
In this room are call takers for the Bexar County Sheriff's Office and the San Antonio Police Department.
People's lives initially depend on what we do here.
When someone calls or texts 911, a call taker answers it and immediately asks,
Do you need police, fire, or EMS?
if there is a fire or someone needs an ambulance.
We don't ask any questions first. We get fire on the line immediately.
The call is transferred to San Antonio Fire Department dispatchers who are located in this same room. Call takers like Jennifer stay on the line to see if police are needed.
May I please have a good contact number for you?
When an officer does need to respond, call takers get as much information as they can. The questions they ask are often similar, but what's on the other end can be wildly different. And some of those calls
KSAT 12. The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
And we begin with day 3 in the trial of 3 former San Antonio police officers who shot and killed a woman in her own apartment. Today, the jury saw body camera video showing what happened when another officer got to the scene before those 3 men who are now on trial.
That video came from Robert Ramos. He's one of the first officers who arrived at the apartment complex the day of the incident. And in that video, you can see Ramos repeatedly knocking on Melissa Perez's door, trying to get her to come out. At one point, you can see the 2 officers on scene trying to kick down her front door. The prosecution asked another officer, Jesus Rojas, if Officer Ramos had been trying to de-escalate the situation.
Are you Melissa? Are you a gang member? You look like a gang member.
The actions that we're seeing from Officer Ramos, would you say that's in line of de-escalating the situation?
No, sir.
Those officers you heard from, they are not the ones on trial in this case. This case, though, has sparked discussion around how police are trained to deal with situations similar to what happened the night Melissa Perez was killed.
Our Erica Hernandez spoke with a police expert to explain how this case could affect policing policies beyond San Antonio.
You ain't got no warrant.
Let's go. Move.
We've seen the body camera footage and the moments leading up to the death of Melissa Perez, who was having a mental health crisis in 2023. The tactics used by former San Antonio police officers Alfred Flores, Eliezer Alejandro, and Nathaniel Villalobos are now being scrutinized in trial.
A woman lost her life, and she had mental illness. And the question we ask ourselves is that, was it necessary?
Willie Ng is a masterpiece officer and law enforcement expert. He spoke with us about the case and says we still haven't seen all the evidence in order to fully understand if the former officers were justified in their actions.
We also got to look at the whole picture. What happened leading up to that incident? So many people get caught up in that snapshot.
Lady, get over here.
What we do know so far is that based off body camera footage, Perez had caused more than $2,000 worth of damage to the fire alarm system and then retreated into her apartment. Ng didn't say yes or no if those officers were justified for shooting, but did say just because they train doesn't mean those situations will play out the same way.
We train and train and train, and these officers get out and they still do things not the correct way. Right? Because we're human, we're wrapped in flesh. And so we can only hope for the best. But sometimes these situations, they're not cookie cutters.
Moving forward, if the jury does convict, he believes the former officers should be held accountable. Policy changes need to be made at SAPD if they haven't already, and that the community doesn't lose trust in law enforcement.
Let's look at the evidence, let's listen to the testimony, and kind of make a decision based on proof, not emotion.
Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
If convicted, all 3 officers are facing life in prison. Testimony is expected to continue tomorrow at 1 p.m., and you can watch that trial live on all of our KSAT streaming platforms. A Northside ISD high school football team lost more than a game last week. Their locker room was broken into as well. This happened Friday at Holmes High School while the team was at Gustafson Stadium playing against Harlan High School. Police say about $3,400 in cash, jewelry, and bank cards were stolen. 14 students were victimized. Police don't know who did it yet, but they are checking surveillance footage and speaking with the victims. If you have any information that could help out in this investigation, you're asked to call the district at 210-397-7233.
A Texas State professor is out of a job again. You may remember Thomas Alter's story. Texas State dismissed him, saying that he incited violence when he said the working class should form a revolutionary socialist party during a virtual conference. Alter sued, and then a judge ordered Texas State to reinstate him. And then you fast forward 1 month, and this week, Texas State said that it reviewed Alter's conduct and then decided to terminate him.
More than 2 decades of memories for a local family have disappeared within just days. They say their pictures, military records, and other keepsakes were stolen from a storage unit on the city's southeast side.
So here's the thing. They did have insurance, but they tell her, Katrina Weber, that there's no replacing what they lost.
It's a sight Joaquin Flores wishes he could unsee.
So this didn't look like this before.
Empty spaces that once held his valuables.
Tools, maybe $1,000, $1,500 worth of tools, a craftsman tool set that by itself was worth like $900.
There also were items he calls priceless: family photos, personal information, and decades worth of military records and honors.
My service dress that I was planning to be buried in, they took that.
The retired master sergeant and his wife recently rented out the space on Old Corpus Christi Road near Southeast Military to store their treasures while they traveled. Instead, someone took their time picking through it all, taking what they wanted.
My whole life. That's what I told my wife. They took my whole life.
Unlike other storage break-ins we've told you about recently, these crooks did not cut through walls. Flores says they walked right in. While the front of this place is secured with a gate and keypad, Flores and his family say the back, not so much. People can come right over that fence and through these sliding doors. And they say actually getting into the building is no problem. They say this door has been broken for weeks.
What they did, they went over. They took the bolt off.
He says the easily removable screw gave the criminals access to his unit. And they're not the only victims. Figures from San Antonio police show 13 burglaries so far this year, 5 of them in the last week. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Now, we called Public Storage's corporate office for comment about the break-ins, and so far no one has returned our call. It's been more than 900 days since Bexar County commissioners voted to examine whether the sheriff's office has enough patrol deputies.
That study, though, hasn't yet happened, and Commissioner Grant Moody wanted it, and he pushed for this research to be done. So he's frustrated that it hasn't happened yet.
If the court decides to take action, especially unanimous action, towards moving forward with the study, then that study should occur.
Tonight on the Night Beat, KSAT investigates what happened and whether any deputies have been added since that vote.
All right, let's get a first check of the forecast. I have to say it again. I said this at 5. The pumpkins make you feel like fall. But stepping outside doesn't.
Yeah, when you're in the air conditioning looking at it, right? Not when you're outside in the sun looking at the pumpkins. Exactly. Now, the coolest temperature we've had at the airport officially in town is 63 degrees so far this season. That's the coolest morning. Now, what we're looking for is that first morning in the 50s, so under 60. On average, that comes September 26th. However, the latest sub-60 degree morning on record was October 22nd, and that was back in 1929. Tomorrow, we're going to be in the mid-60s locally, some upper 50s in the hill country. And for San Antonio, likely well above 60 all the way through October 22nd. So this should be the latest sub-50 degree morning ever recorded. That will be 2025. We'll talk more about the temperature trend and rain chances in just a bit.
Calm and steady when it comes to temperatures, not the case when it comes to traffic. We're going to show you a few problem spots around our region. 410 at Blanco Road, that's 281 at the quarry, and we're talking about major slowdowns. I looked up on TxDOT, and it doesn't seem like there have been any major accidents to speak of. This could just be Normal traffic, but just to let you know, there are definitely several slowdowns around town.
We have some new information tonight on the state's education savings program, informally known as school vouchers. Private schools are able to opt in or opt out of this program.
Speaking of, the Archdiocese of San Antonio says that all of its schools are included in the program. Courtney Friedman found out exactly what this program means for parents and when we'll know which schools are actually participating in it.
All Catholic schools within the Archdiocese of San Antonio will now be participating in the state's new education savings account program, which many people call school vouchers. $10,000 to Texas students who want to go to private schools or other non-public schools.
I think people don't realize, they assume, like, oh, I can use it at a private school, but it has to be a private school that has agreed to accept ESA funds.
Inga Cotton is the founder of the School Discovery Network, which educates parents about all types of schools in our area and helps them choose the one that's right for their child. She's become an expert on the education savings account program and says not just any private school can join.
And there's certain requirements, like they have to be open for at least 2 years. They have to be an accredited program. They have to agree to administer some type of standardized test. It doesn't have to be STAR. It could be a different test.
A statement from the Archdiocese today said in part, across the Archdiocese, schools are preparing to welcome many new families through the launch of this effort. These institutions are courageously meeting new challenges with confidence, eagerly planning for growth. Cotton said this is a big deal because of cost.
Catholic schools are some of the most affordable private schools in our region. So many of them, the annual tuition is already below what the ESA will cover.
And the cost of the school really does matter. Each student in the ESA program gets about $10,000 a year. So if the school only costs $8,000 in tuition, you've got about $2,000 left over. And you can use that for transportation, school food, uniforms, or it can even roll over into next year's tuition.
The other big news, we finally know when the Comptroller's office will open the official ESA portal to families.
By January 2026, families should be able to log in, create an account, apply, look at the handbook, look at the list of providers.
Inga says the time to research your options is now, so when the portal opens, you can be ready. Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
The School Discovery Network is holding one of its School Discovery Days on Saturday, and that's really for you. Representatives from more than 40 schools will be there to answer your questions, and that includes public, charter, private schools. The event is going to be held at the San Antonio Zoo from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And here's a bonus. If you go, you also get into the zoo for free. You can head on over to the School Discovery Network website in order to register for that event.
Tomorrow is supposed to be payday for federal workers, including military members.
But some of them are worried that they're just not going to get paid. An official with Bexar County's Department of Military and Veteran Services says that more military members have been asking for help to pay the bills.
During this government shutdown, of course, we are told that just last week, the department received around 40 applications for the Help to Vets Financial Assistance Program. It helps military members stay or get back on top of their living expenses.
We can cover rent and mortgage. We can pay in arrears. So if you owe back pay, we can cover those costs. For utilities, it's everything from electrical to water, septic systems, well water, cell phones, internet. And then for transportation, predominantly vehicle repairs. We can also do bus passes.
The Help to Vets program is open to military service members, dependents, and also veterans who live in Bexar County. It's also for service members and dependents who live outside of Bexar County but are assigned to Joint Base San Antonio.
In less than a month, Bexar County voters will make some big decisions about the future of our San Antonio Spurs.
Sounds simple, right? You vote yes or no on props A and B, but deciding what to do, that's where things can get confusing.
And you, our viewers, you've had questions, so we got some answers. Tonight at 6:30, we break down everything you need to know about the new Spurs Arena plans, who pays for it, those for and against Propositions A and B, and what other cities have done in similar situations.
So we invite you to join us tonight. That's going to start at 6:30.
And coming up after the break, we get the conversation started by asking a big question of Spurs owner Peter Holt. There are so many questions about the proposal for a new downtown Spurs Arena, but there is perhaps one that is the biggest. I took questions from our own KSAT viewers to Spurs owner Peter Holt. I'm going to start with the one we are getting most often.
Sure.
Why can't the Spurs pay for a new arena all by themselves? Why do you need public dollars to do that?
We're the 27th out of 30th market size in the NBA. And that has always pushed us to be creative and pushed us to be scrappy and quite honestly pushed us to match kind of the energy of San Antonio of being the underdog. The partnership that we have today with the Bexar County in the Frost Bank Center used the venue tax to support building the Frost Bank Center. We've proven that that's been very successful over the past 25 years with our partnership with the county, and we want to continue that now with the partnership with the county and the city using visitor taxes that have no impact on our local citizens. Of the 30 NBA teams, there's only 3 that have been privately financed. 27 have a public-private partnership. The fact is that our market size is a direct correlation in the ability to pay for things.
So I asked Peter Holt a lot more, all questions that came from you, our viewers. You can watch that full interview right now on KSAT.com. And as we mentioned, stick around for our Spurs Arena takeover of the show, which is coming up at 6:30.
Before we do that, let's talk about the weather and take a live look outside. Live cam here, 87 degrees, just a pretty shot of our city right now. And I wanted to discuss some temperature trends, Adam. What could you tell us?
Well, so we all know we're not going to see any big changes, but I want to talk about the average, the October average temperature and how we compare so far and the trend that we're seeing that as of now, we're on track to have the warmest October on record when it comes to the average temperature for the month. And that's what you go by, the average temperature for the month. Last year was the warmest on record, 2024, 78.5 degrees. So far this October, the average temp is 80.2. And we're on track to stay, well, basically where we have been temperature-wise and deviate even more from the average high temperature, which is going to be dropping a little bit in the days ahead. There's going to be some cooler air out there, just not hitting us. A weak front, it moves into town. By this weekend, it shifts the wind a little bit, probably knocks down the humidity a little bit. That's about it. The core of the cool air stays away from us. And then other air masses that are cooler will drop in, but not to our neck of the woods. Into the lower 48, sure, just not where we are. Notice temperatures today above average here, all the way up through the plains, parts of the eastern U.S. It really stands out that the western U.S., that's where we have temperatures significantly below average, and that's going to continue to be the trend. Like I've been saying, there's some cool air out there. It's just not going to be making it here. And this is the longer range trend, October 20th to 24th, above average here, and most of the eastern 2/3 of the country, but the western U.S. is the difference. That means for us, high temperatures remaining right near 90. The average high is 83. By the end of the month, the average high drops down into the upper 70s. Here's a big picture, precip-wise. Wound up system, California, higher elevation snow, heavy rainfall in the lower elevations. And over the past several days, we've seen a stream of moisture through the desert southwest. Well, there will continue to be disturbances, just not ones that give us any rain. And for the most part, Big Blue H upper level high dominating our weather. So you look at all the real estate here with good rainfall potential, it's just not over Texas. And as of now, we're on track to have the driest October on record. There was a trace in 1952, and that's basically the driest yet, which is just under 1/100 of an inch. So far, we don't even have a trace. 88, our high temperature today, that's 5 degrees above average. Right now, we're in the 80s to right near 90, but quickly cooling off. 78 by 10 o'clock, 74 at midnight. Then tomorrow, we start the day in the mid-60s locally, low 60s in outlying areas, 83 at noon, then 90 the high, a lot of sunshine. We'll be right around 90, give or take a few degrees. And then that just continues. A little bit of hope for a stray shower Friday, Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Larry, the Spurs, they are on a roll in the preseason.
They are definitely on a roll. A perfect 4-0. It's their best preseason start in some 20-plus years. And a large reason for that is Victor Wembanyama. He is just doing things on the court that most bigs do not accomplish. It's amazing. And in college football, UIW and Incarnate Word is back after enjoying a bye week. We got it coming up. The Spurs improved to 4-0 this preseason after winning at the Pacers last night, 124-1 away. Victor Wembanyama led the Spurs attack with 27 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 block shot in 24.5 minutes. He shot 9 for 13 from the floor. Now, during this sequence, Wemby came up with the loose ball at the other end, and then he ran the floor like a point guard, and he finished the play with a finger roll. As we look at that finger roll one more time coming up, and Vic just makes it look way too easy, and at times it's truly difficult for his teammates to explain what Vic does on the court.
I couldn't explain it. I think it's like I went from playing with a good, solid big man to playing with a 7'5" who could do everything. I mean, so I seen him. Oh, yeah, I see him out there. He looks like a point guard half the time. So I mean, just little things like that. You know, how much attention he brings to the team is honestly it's great.
From Vic,
yeah,
I say he got a lot stronger. I mean, he has another year under his belt, so obviously his IQ raised a lot more. I think he's becoming a lot more of a willing passer. I mean, with how much attention he brings, and also with his height, you know, he can see over the defense real well. So I think he's getting everybody involved to start the game, and then, you know, finding his own shots throughout it.
The Spurs will close out their preseason schedule Friday night at home with the Pacers. Then the fun really begins with the regular season. After a bye week, the Incarnate Word Cardinals are back on the field and getting ready for a football game. They closed out the first half of their schedule with a 31-17 loss to Stephen F. Austin, dropping their record to 2-4 overall and 0-2 in Southland Conference. The first half of their season, well, it's been up and down, and now they have 6 regular season games to go to try and turn things around.
It's time. The phone's ringing, so we're either going to answer it or we're not. I mean, the first half of the season, just an inconsistent football team, to be totally honest with you. Operation and execution was off. Obviously, we had shuffle at a number of different positions, at the quarterback, on the offensive line, across the whole board. But that's part of it. That's college football nowadays. So we feel good where we're at. We feel good where we're going into the second half of the season with the guys that we have in place and the scheme that we have in place so they can be successful.
We're going to have challenges. They're going to be bad times. They're going to be bad plays, but we know we got to keep going, and that's been the message from Coach Killo. Just being able to be resilient and just keep going and battle through everything and just go 1-0 every week.
The Cardinals will host East Texas A&M University Saturday at 4:30 p.m. at Gale and Tom Benson Stadium in their Salute to Heroes game. KSAT 12 Sports anchor Mary Rominger and photojournalist Adam Higgins covered the Red River rivalry last weekend. And one thing that makes that trip cool is going to the State Fair at Texas to shoot stories before the game, and oftentimes those stories involve food.
This is the Zabel's Belgian waffle stand. It's been here since the 1960s, so this is true tradition here at the Texas State Fair.
This here looks good. It's you have the orange one, I have the crimson. No preference.
No preference here. All right, we'll see which one's better.
Here we
All
go.
right.
That's light, airy. It's delicious.
Couldn't have said it better myself. 10 out of 10.
You can catch the rest of their food story tonight at 7 on KSAT Sports, now streaming on KSAT Plus. And we have a brand new 4 and Out with RJ Marquez filling in for Mary, because I think Mary was in a food coma when we shot it.
She's still full.
Yeah, still full, yeah.
Oh, by the way, Adam Higgins is also a really big dude.
Yeah.
So it's just a really big dude with a really tiny so that's the...
We need to have Mary travel with a box on the road so she can stand on it.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks, Larry. So coming up, we're going to dedicate the rest of our show to breaking down everything that you need to know about a new Spurs arena, and also what a yes or no vote on Propositions A and B could mean for the future of the Spurs and San Antonio. That's coming up.